I think I got it right when I was 12. Nothing's ever going to be as cool as dragons. Like, what if a T-Rex had wings and also breathed fire? Top tier idea. Kudos to whoever came up with that. And Game Freak knew that when they made it one of the base elements of the Pokemon universe. So in appreciation of these mythical serpents, I'm going to beat the newest Pokemon game, Legends ZA, using only dragons, no items. And you all are going to be so impressed by this, you're going to be down in the comments saying like, dragons sure are rad and cool and awesome, and also the guy that made this is super hot and funny too. Enough dancing around. Let's jump into it. The story is as follows. We play as Franco, a young 14 to 20 something who was recently kicked out of his home for the terrible crime of being French. But not all hope is lost for young Franco, for he has found a place to call his own in Lumio City, Frenchest place in the Pokemon world. Shortly after arriving, we are approached by a young woman pleading for us to act in her commercial, no doubt because of our supermodel good looks. The shoot doesn't last long, as we're immediately robbed by a Pokemon. We give chase and corner it, but alas, nothing can be done as we have no cool, awesome, amazing dragons to fight by our side. The young woman, Tonnie, lends us her Totodile, which we can use in the meantime. Now, I just want this on the record, but I did try to beat this part without using Totodile. If you let the Pancham knock you out, Tonnie just heals you up and says, "Buck up, sport, you can do it." So for the foreseeable future, we're kind of forced to use Totodile. I know it's technically against the rules, but we'll get past this. Don't worry. Tonnie leads us back to our hotel, and Totodile prevents several more muggings on the way there. We get a good night's sleep, and the next morning, Tonnie challenges us to a battle. Not for no reason. She wants to make sure we're ready for the nightly death matches that occur that we opted into just by moving here. Franco has never felt more at home. After a quick victory, we move on to the catching tutorial, which we don't care about because none of the Pokemon here are sick, nasty dragons. You can stay, but you're on thin ice, Buster. Before our first deathmatch night, we go back to the hotel and meet up with one of Tonnie's friends, Naveen. Naveen works with clothes and is willing to offer us some fashion advice in the form of a trilby. Ugh. Maybe we won't take Naveen's advice. Maybe we should just get right into the royale. It's pretty uneventful, just more tutorial stuff. All the trainers here obviously suck because they don't use dragons, myself included. Our first major fight is against Zach, the taxi driver, who's absolutely dragonless and doesn't give us any trouble, which earns Franco his first rank up. We wake up bright and early the next morning with a single goal in mind. We're going to catch our first dragon, and that's where this challenge really begins. Down in the southwest corner of the map is Café Les Na, where we ignore private property laws and can climb the roof to find our first dragon, Dratini. But before we can get there, there's still some more tutorializing to do. Outside the hotel, we're stopped by Tarragon, who is Best Boy. Yes, he's a 65-year-old construction worker with back issues. No, I don't have to justify myself to you people. Tarragon gives us merch of his streamer granddaughter, which is kinda weird, but it also offers all sorts of helpful buffs, like it can improve our catch rate or increase Franco's HP. More importantly than that, though, is that it can boost the XP of all of our Pokemon. We will not be collecting any of these. Out-leveling opponents makes this game way too easy, and I'm not going to make any of this easy on myself. But with that out of the way, we can move on to Café Les Na and catching our first Pokemon. It takes several attempts to catch Dratini because it's not an easy Pokemon to catch at this point in the game. It's only got a 4% catch rate, and I have to reset after every Pokeball because it runs away, so this takes a little while. But we do catch it, and our team now has its first official member, Blonde Blazer. And Robert, the Totodile, but he just kind of sits around and doesn't really do anything on account of him not being a cool dragon. And I don't think that's going to change for a while, so for now, Blonde Blazer's our girl. Now, you might have noticed, Blazer is approximately 3 times the level of anything else we'd be dealing with right now. This is canonically accurate to dispatch. However, this doesn't trivialize the game as much as you'd think. You see, until the next Royale, Blonde Blazer's going to ignore my orders, since she's a girl boss baddie and don't need no man telling her how to live her life. She is, however, our only dragon, meaning she has to sit around and take a beating every time she ignores my orders. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if Robert wasn't a dumb, stupid garbage baby who doesn't do anything. You disappointment. In order to move the story forward, we have to do a couple of side quests first. You can see in this Bunnelby fight exactly how fights are going right now. Blazer ignores 3 attack orders in a row, and just left us sitting there. I couldn't do anything. This is what we're dealing with until we reach next rank. We also have another quest where we meet world-famous Heracross, Blah! And though he's pretty cool, he's not long for this world. You see, he's not a majestical, magical beast of myth, like this thing. I wish I were you. Bye-bye, Blah. Huzzah, we've completed the side quests, giving us access to our next dragon. Kind of, technically. You see, we have access to benches now, where you can sleep to skip ahead to the next day. If we do this a couple days in a row, we can wait till it's raining, granting us access to our next dragon, Goomy. Look at this little guy, he's so cute. So why is he only kind of an option? Well, in theory, he should be faster to catch than Dratini, because he doesn't run away, meaning I don't have to reset. I can just stand behind him and whip Pokeballs at the back of his head. But look at this catch rate. Look at it! Oh, I would have to throw 1,000 Pokeballs just to reach odds. I'm not that desperate yet for a second Pokemon. If we really need it, we can come back later, but I don't see any need in the foreseeable future for this. Hey, does anyone else hear boss music? Blazer chewed through the next royale relatively painlessly, so you can imagine my shock when I came face to face with Yvonne. Now, you might not remember Yvonne from your first playthrough. She's barely a speed bump, but for this run, she's a hard wall. I was unprepared on my first attempt, so when Yvonne sent out a Spritzy who's immune to half my attacks, I took the loss on the chin. I redid my moves, and I tried it again. Using Takedown and a Citrus Berry this time, I made it past her Spritzy, only to be met by a Swirlix, a second fairy type. Now, Spritzy and Swirlix love to spam fairy attacks, and Fake Tears, which drops my special defense. And if I do manage to make it past the Tinkerbell twins, she sends out a Vivillon, a non-fairy type whose main attacking move is Draining Kiss, a high-power fairy attack. There's just no winning. I beat my head against this fight for hours. All the while, Blazer's still ignoring my orders. I couldn't think of anything. I started digging through my inventory, desperate for any item that could help. And that's when I found it. The most uncommon of sweets. Un super bonbon. A rare candy, as you non-bilinguals might say. Now, you wouldn't think one level would make a huge difference in this fight, but it's the difference between my Dratini dying when it uses Takedown and my Dragonair dying when it uses Takedown. So with 2 health left and a sugar high like no other, Blazer crashes into Vivillon, sacrificing herself, knocking out both Pokemon in the process, leaving me the winner because Robert's still asleep on the bench, and that counts. We go up a rank. Reaching X rank unlocks Blazer's true power, because not only is she listening to my orders now, but she has access to Dragon Rush, one of the best moves in the game. We stomp the entirety of X and W rank with this move. And the catch rate boost we get from ranking up lets us finally get our second team member, Waterboy. Now, Waterboy isn't exactly a powerhouse at this point, and it'll be a while before he evolves, but he's cute, and that's all he needs to be for now. Just look at this little guy. Look at him! His cuteness draws eyes in high places. That and an off-screen battle we did with some evil Omen of Doom overflowing with pink energy. But that's unrelated to dragons, that's just normal French stuff, so we're ignoring it. What we aren't ignoring is our third team member, Coupe, the Gibble. We love Gibble, who immediately evolves into Gabite. We love Gabite. And I'd just like to point out, it's actually really hard to get Gibble at this point in the game. You have to check all these little holes in the ground and hope that a Gibble spawns in one of them. But every time you approach one, you aggro a Drillbur inside, so by the time you find Gibble, you're surrounded by Drillbur, and there's this one Matchop there too, who's just doing everything in his power to stop me from catching Gibble. But we've got Coupe in hand now, so we can focus back on this guy, Vinny. Vinny works for Quasartaco. Quasartaco? Vinny works for Quasartaco, which is a big company that's basically running the whole city at this point. He wants Franco to come work for them to stop the whole pink energy crisis thing that's happening. And that seems like a nice idea, but there's one problem with that. Because Vinny is the one asking me to do this, and I don't like Vinny. I don't like his weird undercut mixed with mutton chops mixed with man bun combo. I don't like that his man bun has a bunny bun. I hate the fact that he's a secretary. Why is he a secretary? Why is a secretary allowed to make these decisions? Shouldn't he have to go through his boss first? And on top of all of that, he has a dragon. A really fantastic one, like brand name quality, Guillermo del Toro levels of awesome. And it just wrecks my whole team. Waterboy barely pulls us through in the end. Vinny, I gotta apologize for all the terrible things I said to you. You didn't deserve any of that. You are a real one. And real recognizes real because Vinny bumps us up 15 ranks in the royale. This is conditional on us solving the whole pink energy crisis thing, which is causing wild Pokemon to turn mega. 3 of whom are threatening to destroy the city right now. None of our current Pokemon can mega evolve, so we have to handle the pink energy crisis the hard way. Of the 3 rogue mega Pokemon attacking right now, Camerupt seems like the easy choice. We've got a team full of Batical Radical Dragons, and Robert, that resist it, letting us whittle it down slowly but surely, and Coupe can deliver the final blow. Our next battle is against Victory Bell, who, similar to Camerupt, just turns into a slog. Its most dangerous attack, it scatters these huge poison pools everywhere, which are easy enough for Franco to avoid, but our Pokemon just kind of waddle into them. Either way, Blazer can finish it off without too much trouble. Our last battle is against Mega Slowbro, who's got crazy defenses. We're not going to beat this thing in a drag-out brawl, but this time, you see, Robert, the dumb, stupid baby, has gotten sick of all the verbal abuse I'm hurling his way and finally decided to take matters into his own hands. No, not like that. He's decided to turn into a cool dragon. Meaning for the first time in the run, we can actually use Robert. Yeah! As long as he's in his mega form. Otherwise, it's back to the bench with him. With his newfound mega power, we stand a chance against Mega Slowbro. The fight has to follow a certain pacing. We use Blazer to build up the mega energy, and once his gauge is full, we can send Robert in to go ham for like a minute and 30 seconds. He just turns into a blender. He shreds this thing. Franco's been on a roll lately, but he really needs to take some time to rest, so we head back to the hotel, where we're approached by the mysterious Pokemon Zygarde. Now, Zygarde wants to join our party and help us out with the pink energy crisis, but there's a problem with that. Zygarde is a dog. A gross, slimy dog, not a dragon. This run isn't called Dogs Only, it's called Dragons Only, and dogs aren't dragons. So we kick Zydog to the curb and move on with our day. Our next deathmatch is going to be against Canary, a famous streamer. Naveen is a huge fan of this streamer. Naveen loves to talk about the streamer. Naveen skips out on important strategy meetings so we can watch Canary streams. Naveen is going to tell us all about Canary so we know exactly what to expect when we have to face her in the Royale. But don't worry, he's not like those other creepy fans she's got. He's a real nice guy, and you know what? Maybe we're not going to take Naveen's advice on this one. We leave Naveen rambling about how amazing and great Canary is while we go train our Pokemon, evolving Waterboy in the process. And then we go pick up some fresh fits. I know Naveen's supposed to be the fashion guy, but... Oh god, I ended up looking like a garbage man. Oh god, maybe I do need to start taking Naveen's advice. Okay. Naveen gets us set up at a live meet event with Canary, which he refuses to go to because he's not like the other fans. He would never intrude upon her space like that. I don't know why he even bothers. Canary didn't even show up to this thing. She just sent her hologram in instead. And worst of all is that she's starting to win me over. She's got this peppy crankiness you only see in 65-year-old construction workers. Not normal for streamers. I'd go as far as to say she's even kind of making me a fan. And being a fan, I have the opportunity to beat the piss out of every single one of the nerds that showed up to this thing, winning me a chance to meet with Canary face to face. Turns out she's streaming out of the back of her grandpa's garage. Relatable. And her grandpa turns out to be none other than best boy Tarragon. Tarragon, being the loving grandpa that he is, doesn't want us to interrupt Canary's streams, so he challenges us to a battle to stop us. It's a pretty close fight. Comes down to a duel between Robert and Mega Excadrill, but we pull through in the end, winning the battle and Tarragon's respect. He also lets us in on a little secret. He's been Canary the whole time. At least at the live events. Kind of explains the whole cranky but peppy thing. That was him all along. I knew there was something special about him. And he won't stand in our way anymore. We're off to go fight the real Canary now. Hey, thanks a bunch to anyone who's made it this far in the video. I've never tried making something this big before, so it would mean a lot to me if I could hear about it in the comments from you. Also, regular YouTube stuff, like, subscribe. I think they've got a thing called Hypes now, which sounds fake, but if you really want to, you can do that too. Other than that, back to the video. Thanks a bunch. There's a bit of a shift in the battles from this point going forward, because we don't out-level everything anymore. Coupe puts in some good work with her type advantage, but it isn't enough to sweep the whole team. What gives us the most trouble is her Stunfisk, which is teeny tiny and hid beneath a workbench mid-fight. Like, imagine you dropped your Pokemon and it slid beneath the couch and just didn't want to come back out again. That's what I was dealing with here. It was honestly kind of funny. Still, we stopped the Stunfisk stunning the streamer and securing our success against her secret Super Serpent. And then she calls me a slur. I don't really know a lot about how Twitch policies work. Chat, is she cooked? I think she's cooked. It's fine. Naveen will still stand her, but like, I don't think she's coming back from this one. There's more important things to worry about, like another pink energy crisis. Beedrill, Bandit, and Hawlucha all attacking at the same time, all very similar fights because they have a single goal in mind. They want Franco dead. They will ignore everything else that's going on as long as they get to chase us down and kill us. I don't know what we did to make them so mad. Maybe they're Canary fans, maybe they're just mad we got her cancelled. Bennett's the toughest of the group because it likes to teleport around and make a bunch of copies of itself. It makes it really hard to pin it down. We still finish it off no problem. Back into the story, we're fighting Canary again. What's that? We just fought Canary? Yeah, well, we're fighting her again. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Here, let me run it back for you a bit. Our next royale is against this dude, Ivor. He's got beef, look at them arms, and his Pokemon have beef, with us, personally, for some reason, and they want to fight us about it. But they can't fight us because he needs his phone to fight us, and his sister Gwyn has his phone because she runs all his socials and she ghosted him. Now we're following the trail of Gwyn, the ghost girl who ghosts, who it turns out is friends with Canary. Oh god, Gwyn's another Canary stan. I'm gonna have to fight her too, aren't I? Problems for later. We ask Canary where Gwyn is, but Canary doesn't want to answer us. She just wants revenge for getting her cancelled. So the fight goes the exact same way as it did last time because we only fought her 5 minutes ago and she hasn't changed her team at all. But we beat her and she tells us where Gwyn is hiding, but not before calling me another slur because she's gone full mask off at this point. Gwyn is hiding in the storm sewers during a rainstorm. I don't think this girl's gonna make it. To get into the sewers, we're gonna have to freeze the water by the entrance with Ice Beam, which is as good a segue as any to talk about the TMs in this game. Most of the TMs in this game are gate-kept by Mabel. She's kind of the professor stand-in, and she wants us to do some tasks for her, and then she rewards us by giving us the TMs. I've been avoiding doing this. Like, in a normal playthrough, you do a lot of her requests just by playing the game, so it's not a problem, but this is a challenge run, so I've just been running point to point really quickly and not really grinding out any of the catching you need to do to unlock them. This makes the game a fair bit harder, which I like, but it means our spectacular, staggering, stupefying dragons are starting to fall behind because they don't have access to the crazy type coverage that makes them so great in the first place. Ultimately, though, if we want to get into the sewers, we're going to need to find the Ice Beam TM. The only place we can do that is in Wild Zone 12, the Ice Park, which is, unsurprisingly, a really scary place for a group of dragons who are all super weak to ice. We have to use Mega Robert to break down this rocky barrier so we can just beeline it for the TM, which we then teach to all of our Pokemon because, oh, thank God, we've got coverage now. Hey, so quick aside, Robert can only be used when he's Mega Evolved, which includes when I'm traveling around the city, meaning I had to Mega Evolve him just to break the boulders here because he's the only Pokemon I have with a fighting type move. Crisis averted. Sewers open, we can go diving in, yeah! While Ivor runs ahead to save his sister, we've got some special business to attend to down here. Let me let you in on a little secret. These sewers are full of dragons. And that means 2 new dragons are hitting the team. Sonar the Noibat, and Invisigal the Skrelp. This place is so much cooler than the sewers I've got back home. My sewers just have rats and steam. This place has no rats, and Skrelp. Side note, Skrelp is a bad word to say, and also Skrelp is a bad dragon, not a cool dragon, so Vizzy's gonna be a bench warmer for the foreseeable future. Kinda like Robert was back at the beginning. Speaking of which, what's Robert been up to? Eating Gwyn like a sewer gator, I guess. Bad, Robert. Bad. We rescue Gwyn, get Ivor's phone back, and we're ready to move on to the Ivor fight. But before that, we've got one last thing to do. It's still raining, so this is our last chance to evolve Water Boy. We give him a few rare candies, and we're ready to go. Remember how I said Ivor's Pokemon had beef with us? Yeah, well, it turns out he found world-famous Heracross, blah, in the trash. No idea how it got there, but it's got a lot of frustration to work out, and, I'm tempted to let this one play out in full. Oh, sacre bleu! That translates to, holy hell, Heracross did a number on us. We're lucky Robert's so cracked, because if we ran out of Mega Power, we'd have had to take the L. But we're not taking the L. We're taking the D. Hey, quick word of advice. Friends don't let friends script at 1 a.m. Yeah, boy, getting that D all night long. You know who we haven't checked up on in a while? Tonnie. Let's see what Tonnie's up to. Well, we can't find Tonnie anywhere because she's gone into hiding. Turns out she's in debt with the French Yakuza. Truly, this city has everything. Fortunately for Tonnie, Franco is French and can meet with them on her behalf. The enforcer of the French Yakuza, Philippe, doesn't like us sticking our necks out for Tonnie, probably because he doesn't have a neck. Or maybe he has a neck and doesn't have a head? It's kind of hard to tell. He's kind of like the human equivalent of one of those Spy Kids thumb monsters. His steel types are pretty tough, but Robert manages to pull through at the very end. These fights are actually getting pretty fun. The whole team does their part charging up Robert, who gets to act as our boss monster and closes the fight out. We head inside to speak with Corbeau, who is the head of, and I'd like to reiterate this for you people, head of the French Yakuza. We're not going to worry about this right now. We're just here to let Franco do his thing and talk them down. How's that going? Well, what I'm hearing is a lot of yada yada is from one side and a lot of la na 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 parle pas tabernax from the other. I think it's working out. Corbeau eventually relents, allowing us to settle this debt on a later date with a battle, giving us some time to work on the current pink energy crisis. 3 new megas: Barbaracle, Ampharos, Mawile. Barbaracle's a joke, it's weak to Robert. We try to do Ampharos next, but get stopped by Gwyn, who wants revenge for that time we got Canary cancelled. She's not hard, but her Gengar has Icy Wind, and from this point forward, we're going to see that a lot. Random Pokemon just having Ice-type coverage is messing up our whole team. But she's defeated, and now we stand before Mega Ampharos. Ah, look at this glorious, majestic beast. This is what a dragon is supposed to look like. Just ignore its goofy running animation. It goes down, leaving us with only 1 Mega left, the Fairy-type Mawile. I was fully expecting to lose right here. Mawile's immune to my best attacks and hits back really hard with its Fairy moves. Fortunately, its only Fairy attack is this big Moonblast rain it does, and I can avoid that by putting my Pokemon back in their balls. I actually do this in a lot of fights for the big scary AoEs. It seems easier than trying to get them to dodge it. We get that out of the way, and we're back to dealing with Corbeau and the French Yakuza. We're not going to waste any time because Corbeau is going to be easy mode. We've got a secret weapon in Coupe, who's finally reached her final form, meaning we have access to Mega Garchomp. We love Garchomp. We load her up on ground moves, approach the poison specialist, and lose. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised as you. Turns out there's 2 big hurdles we have to clear in this fight. Number 1, Corbeau has a dragon. Not a real dragon, a fake dragon, but Gyarados is about as dragon as he can get before he turn into an actual for realsies dragon. Little known fun fact for you, Gyarados actually did his master's on Dragonology and is currently working on his doctoral thesis in being a dragon. Dragon Rush is his move of choice, which can one-shot any Pokemon on my team, and he's got a ground immunity, so Coupe can't do anything because I loaded her down with too many ground moves. Whoops. Thunderfang would be an option, but I'm not smart and didn't have the foresight to go get Thunderfang from Mabel before jumping into this. Even if we clear the Gyarados, the rest of the fight isn't free. He's got a Mega Scolipede on backup that's bulky enough to tank any hits, and can finish off my weakened team. It takes us 3 tries, but I do figure out the strat. Sack everything to Gyarados so I can charge up Robert. Robert clears the path to Scolipede, and then Coupe can close it out. With that, Tonnie's debt is cleared, and thanks to our legitimate business dealings with the French Yakuza, we go up a rank. The next segment is a gauntlet of what I thought is going to be some of the hardest fights for a pure dragon team. New Megas, which include Frostlass and a Fairy Dragon Altaria, a Dragon Specialist, LeBron, and capping it off, Jacinthe, with her team of scary fairies. We luck out against the Frostlass. Its ice attacks are super strong, but also super telegraphed. Robert can make short work of this. Alteria's next, but thanks to passive XP gain, we have the perfect counter in our newly evolved Invisigal. Altaria has one attack we have to watch out for. It shoots a Moonblast that tracks directly to Vizzy's location. But I did find the secret strat to avoiding it. I throw Franco in the path of it as a human shield, and he face tanks it for us. Franco may be bleeding, but in the end, Vizzy solos. The next hurdle we need to clear is Jacint's attack dog, LeBron. Now, LeBron is a kindred spirit. She too has a team of magnificent, awe-inspiring dragons. Dragons which my team is weak to. She might do good against all my Pokémon, but that's not going to help her because I'm doing good against all her Pokémon.
Strange, isn't it?
We make mincemeat of the malicious mistress's malcontent maid, moving us one step closer to clearing this gauntlet. Jacinthe would be next on the list, but she insists we participate in her extra fancy Rich Aristocrat tournament. Franco, a Frenchman at heart, is unimpressed by the aristocracy. We are forced to fight Canary for a third time. She's yet to change her team. Moving on. Ivor is up next, but an evolved Sonar can take out Bois easy, and without Heracross to carry, his team falls apart. Lastly, we have to fight Corbeau again, but I had the foresight to teach Coupe Thunderfang, meaning Gyarados is no threat. And with that, we're finally ready to battle Jacinthe. Is what I would say, but the fight gets interrupted by Zydog. Despite everything, Zydog still insists on joining our team, which I am not going to let happen. I said dragons only, and that means dragons only. Not dogs, not gross, slimy, worm dog things that can turn into sick kaiju dragons. Oh. Zydog, I'd like to apologize for all the terrible things I said about you. You didn't deserve any of that. You are a real one. No, come back. Let's just get the Jacinthe fight over with. Coupe's our girl, taking out 3 of the fairies, and I'm only just noticing this watching the footage, but Jacinthe sends out an Aurorus in the middle of the fight, which is like the least fairy-type, most dragon-killery thing she could. And I didn't even notice, because Waterboy just destroys the thing. Her Clefable's a ringer, and it's bulky and can kind of start to turn things around in her favor. But a timely evolution from Blonde Blazer allows us to take the win. And hey, Jacinthe? We got our eyes on you. With Jacinthe beaten, we can catch 2 more mega cool dragons. Prism the Altaria, and Malevola the Salamence. We don't end up using Malevola at all this run. Our team doesn't have room for anyone else, so I'm forced to cut somebody to make room. Ultimately, I choose Sonar. He's not really carrying his weight right now. And I swear to God, I did not plan that from the beginning. It's just how things happen to work out. I really need Prism on my team. In her Mega form, she has Dragon Immunity, which is really going to help us in our next big battle, Mega Dragonite. It turns into a dragon drag-out brawl. Everyone does their part to chip in so we can bring it down. There's also a fight against Mega Starmie, which is significantly easier, and I still somehow managed to lose that one. Like, it isn't even hard, I just wasn't paying attention. That one's on me, that's my B. We are on to the final stretch now, and our last Royale battles are against Grisham and Griselle, a pair of baristas living out every customer service worker's dream of physically attacking the customer. Griselle is up first. Her team is mostly weak to water, making her easy pickings for Robert and Waterboy, who's packing Surf now. Except she also has a Metagross with random ice coverage. It knocks out Waterboy, and Coupe gets a lucky freeze before Blazer can finish it off, and then gets a second lucky freeze on Robert, who barely thaws before it's too late. Random ice coverage is scary, but Grisham shouldn't be a problem as long as he doesn't... Oh, come on. Fine, it's fine. Robert handles it and the rest of Grisham's team, but runs out of juice right before he sends out his last Pokemon. Turns out Grisham's got a secret too. He too is a connoisseur of sick, nasty dragons. And he brought the sickest, nastiest dragon of all, Charizard, who's a dragon by technicality much like Robert. There's an intense standoff between Charizard and Blonde Blazer. But Charizard is too slow. Franco is now the winner of the ZA Royale. I don't know why we were going through all that. I guess we proved Franco's the Frenchest person in the city or something. What does our friend Tonnie think about all this? Jesus, girl, what is your problem? Ah, it seems Tonnie is on to us. She's realized that Franco is not from France as it would seem. He is in fact Canadian. And the thought of a Canadian out-Francing everyone else in Lumios is something she won't stand for, so she challenges us to one last battle. Tonnie brings everything she can to the table here. She brings a Meowstick with dual screen support. She brings her own stunning, sensational, spectacular dragon with random ice-type coverage. She brings an Ovalug in the only game where Ovalug is actually good. And last but not least, she brings a dinosaur. Not a fire-breathing winged one, but a regular dinosaur, which is the second coolest thing next to a dragon. The battle is hard fought, but we win in the end. And with that, we've conclusively proven that not only are dragons the coolest thing ever, but also proved that Franco was the ultimate Frenchman. The only thing that could stop us from making this claim now is if the Eiffel Tower itself came to life as a fairy type and threatened to step on us. You know, I hear Belgium's nice this time of year. Maybe we could move there. They speak French. Fine, we'll save the city. Right now, it's overrun with Mega Pokemon. All the trainers we've met so far are trying to fend them off and need our help. These fights are all crazy chaotic and we're underleveled, but I came prepared for this occasion with a team of gnarly rad dragons. Like Prism, who can use Perish Song so I don't actually have to fight anything, we can just wait it out. With everyone safe, we can focus on dealing with the tower. A familiar voice calls out to us. Zydog's back! And we know better than to judge it by its gross, dog-like appearance. It's a dragon at heart. It calls forth all of its might and transforms into a Gundam? A Gundam's basically a dragon. We're not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth on this one. We charge in, deftly dodging the floral fury of this malefic monolith. Striking the sturdy structure with the help of our mythological mutt-turned-monster, we do all we can. But it isn't enough. Is this the end for Franco and friends? Did we come so far only to fail? No! I refuse to come this far only to give up. We can still win this! We can break the fight up into 3 phases with 2 flowers per phase. In phase 1, we have Robert rush down the left flower with the strongest attack so it doesn't interfere while we fight the right. We can use the rubble on the right side to hide from the second flower, and with careful positioning, use Prism's ranged attacks to chip away at it. It's slow, but it is the safest option. In its second phase, it gains 2 new attacks to watch out for. The right flower has a powerful Hyper Beam, and the left can use Toxic, which does big damage over time. This time, it's Coupe's job to take out the left flower, and Blazer can handle the right from a safe distance. In its third and final phase, the right flower adds Thunderbolt to its moveset that tracks to Franco's location, making it hard for us to stand still, and the left flower's Toxic becomes even more powerful. The trick in this phase is to dart back and forth using Franco as bait, so our Pokemon can get big hits in. It's a long and arduous battle, but we barely manage to win with only 1 dragon left standing. Invisigal gets the final blow. Oh yeah, and I guess Zygarde helped a little bit. Hey, I just want to say thanks to everyone who made it to the end of the video. Like I said before, I've never tried doing something this big, so it would mean a lot to me if you left a comment or subscribed. Everyone who watched this video is literally the greatest person on the planet because you clicked on a video from someone with no experience making something like this and stuck around for the full half hour of it, which is a big ask. Thanks a bunch. You all take care. And Merry Christmas. I made this on the 25th.